Today's episode is sponsored by Taylor Health. Taylor Health focus on an integrative approach and specialise in preventative lifestyle factors that can optimise overall health and well-being. From health coaching, looking at lifestyle and behaviours, functional nutrition, meal planning and recipes, phlebotomy services for health screening for a multitude of reasons including health monitoring, fertility testing, pre and post surgical testing, sports and athletic performance testing and hormone monitoring. They also provide therapeutic venesection for individuals with hemochromatosis and those on testosterone replacement therapy. Let Taylor Health prioritise your health and well-being, and be sure to mention the Jim King Show to receive your discount. You can now click on the link in the description of this video for all services. Thank you for everyone watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
All I know is the lock back ended up opening my hand and I grabbed them 1, 2, 3 and so on. I feel guilty about some stuff I've done and some stuff I've let go. That I'll always feel guilty for. And I had a big a butcher knife, the one that's got the kind of cover at the end of my leg. But I've ran back at him, I've pulled it out, stabbed his dad in the chest and couldn't get it back out. Somebody had looked out the window for the party and seen we were fighting and a full crowd of people ran out. The only thing that saved their life is at the exact same time they were running down the stairs, all the police were starting to appear. You know, it's funny, lying on that cold close, the floor, it gave me the feeling of my own grave. Shoot the bastards, shoot him in the head, he'll come back for the rest of us. He just moved the gun down a bit and then just pulled the trigger and he blasted his air at the top of the thigh and it was a hollow point bullet. So it just made a wee hole grin, made some mess coming back out though. And I said, you stabbed nobody. And I've turned around just like he up at giant in the box, pulled the Stanley out, he got me straight there. And I was really about to sure what happened. I was tapping him, I was strangling the life from him. And all the blood was pouring in him. I mean, it was like bucket loads. Just as that, Stacey's phoned the ambulance. And I says, what you did for an ambulance? Like, your fucking cheeks on your shoulder. And I kept strangling him, but what happened is the more and more blood was losing, the less and less the grip was getting.
Paul Smith, welcome to the show.
Jim, thank you very much for having me. Great honour to be here.
It's great to have you on the show, mate. An incredible life story.
Yep.
You've been through the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
You've been involved in chaotic violence.
Most definitely.
Shootings, stabbings, slashings.
Oh, I hit the trifecta, that's for sure.
All these crazy stories, mate. But before we go right into your story, if you can talk me through what you've got going on in the now and the present. I know you've released your first book and it's a good bit of your story, so if you can talk me through that.
Yes, thank you. Well, my book's called From Gangs To Gourmet, and you know, some people make it different things with it. For me personally, I wrote it as a redemption story, and it's exactly what it was for me. It was a long time coming. Funny enough, I'd been about 3 years on page 1 alone. Just couldn't get off it. It was just something that was fear, doubt, everything. Finally got in with my editor, and she's gave us the confidence. And in the 8 months, I wrote the book. It was just flew at me. And, you know, it's kept us busy, there's no two ways about it. But it's also been very therapeutical for me. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't want to put, but because I thought, no, I don't want to speak about that. But my editor says, well, Paul, that's in you regardless. Maybe getting out will make you feel better. And I used to finish my work, and what I did is I'd press send through an email, and it was like a bit of that went with it. It might sound strange, but for me it did. And I'd feel better. Bit by bit, you feel the lighter stress in your shoulders. I'm carrying on that about this for years. But, you know, I'm far from innocent in this story, and I don't make myself out to be innocent. If anything, I'm one of the ones that really villainises myself in the story, because other people are mentioned in it. Without their permission, I wouldn't really go too far with them. So they're mentioned, and things we were caught for or whatnot, and other people that didn't care and wanted mentioned in it, then I'll go a wee bit further. But for me, I'll really put my real stuff in it, and you know, there's a lot of fear, doubt, and also happiness. It's not just a book about violence, you know, there's a lot of fun times in it, because growing up, it was a coming of age book, and you know, it's not just all violence. That's nonsense. You don't wake up in the morning, right, I've just brushed my teeth, let's gang fight. Now, these things maybe progress through the day, but or most likely at the weekend. But through the week, a lot is boring. Obviously, there's a lot of drugs. Party pills were the favourite. When we were boys, the white powder wasn't a bit. Well, you'd heard it in the background, but I'd never ever tried
so
it.
different than the drug scene.
Yeah.
But before we get into your story, right?
Yep.
If you can talk me through the day you were launching your book. I know it was CrimeCon. There's also a synchronicity in that story.
Oh, most definitely. And it was, talk about fate. I was in the big Hilton Hotel in William Street, and CrimeCon was a big event. Now, I had nothing to do with booking that event. The event was booked, it's done 2 times a year in London and Glasgow. And I happened to be in the toilet, and I'd been at the bar showing. I'd actually used to work in that hotel, so I'd showed that one lassie, and there was another wee lassie, wee waitress, who'd been looking at it, and she was like, oh, that's great and all that. I'd went into the toilet, and you happened to walk in for something totally different, and she pulled you out, and she's like, Jim, look, there's a guy in there, his book looks great, he's up the stairs doing a big conference about it, you should meet him. And you were like, I'll give him a nod. Out comes for the toilet me, and you burst into laughter. Like, meet him. I grew up with a boy. God's sake, mate. I mean, he was in my house for our brains. And obviously, you think of all the things that had to happen for the two of us to be there that day. And that's a big part of me being on the show today. You know what I mean?
It was a mad story, because I'm always looking for the next big story.
Yep.
And the wee lassie you were talking about works in there. She came running around like a wee kid, really. Saying, Jim, I've got a story. And I'm running about saying, where is he?
Aye.
Where did he go? But again, and then obviously our face when I says, oh, I know this guy. I grew up with him from the same area.
Yep.
But that's all part of the story as well. Came through your book.
Yep.
So I'll now take you back, right, to like your early memories, a childhood, your first chapter.
Yeah, well, we grew up in, it was called the Verandas, blocks and blocks of tenements that ran through 3 or 4 streets in the Cabrain area, Cumbernauld. And if you'd a couple of quid in your pocket, you would look at us as living in poverty. But none of us knew that we all lived together. And granted, there wasn't a lot in the way of life development on your doorstep. There was a lot of death and destruction, thieving, whatever. Crime was right there always, but when you were kids, you knew nothing about that. And I had a great childhood. I mean, we made the rain fun. I think today, too many ways are spoiled with things like computers and all that. They're never out. They're always want to stay in their rooms. We would all go, nature and whatnot about us, so we could go up to places called Palace Rig and whatnot. It was all great, and it was teamsies. And it wasn't obviously I got a bit older, I realised that we were staying there because your mum and dad didn't live a pot to piss in. And unfortunately that was also what really kind of got us onto crime, because I was always kind of attracted to the ones that were in the grass, they were drinking, and obviously I didn't know about drugs, I was on my way, but they were always coming down in different cars, playing loud music. I didn't realise all the cars were stolen. And one of the first memories I actually had of that was a boy had been chased down Stoneleigh Road, and he'd taken a left, which would take you to the corner scope, which is a dead end. Well, it's got bumpers there to stop you, and pylons, and what he'd done is he managed to go flying down the post behind him with the lights and all that on. I mean, it was just like an action movie. There was 20, 30 Waynes all sitting in the popping up going, wow. He actually mounted the pavement and down a flight of stairs right down, and the police wouldn't chase him because that's an endangerment to other people's lives. Now, I knew as a father, I'd be like, yeah, effing prick, I've got Waynes, but we were Waynes and we were all cheering him on. This is great, this is the best thing ever.
In that area,
yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of roads, a lot of dead ends, so if you're going around all these footpaths, you could run a kid over or anything
without a doubt.
Like you say, when you're in your chaos, you don't think of these things. So before... Another mad story is that you used to chat my door for school.
Yeah.
And it was before really like the drug scene came. I know it was at an early age as well. But there's a funny story because you were in my brother's class at school.
I was, yeah.
And there's a mad story there we were speaking about earlier. Can you talk us through that?
Well, to this day, I mean, I still owe your brother a punch in the nose. To this day, we were really good pals in school. Me and your brother were really, I used to go to your house every morning, chat with him, walked into school. And there was this Arab guy, I'll not mention his name, but me and him hated each other. And he got in your brother's ear, and he caused a fight between the two of us. And me and your brother didn't really want to fight with each other, but with the whole school egged us on. So we decided, right, let's go. And the two of us are fighting, and boom, boom, boom. And he hit us a shot, a dillion right in my nose, and my nose just went bang. I was still ready to fight, but of course, people grabbing your brother's horns and it was up in the air. For the last 30 years, he'd go, remember I smacked you in the nose? I'll get you back one day.
That was his claim to fame.
That was his claim to fame.
Again, only kids. I was there that day.
You
I was
were.
a year younger than yous.
Yep.
The year below yous. But again, only like 10, 11 years old. But moving on for there then, right? What age were you when you first started getting involved in drugs then? Was it hash back then?
Drugs was an early thing, and it was hash, and I hated that stuff. I still do to this day. I hated the smell of it, I hated the feeling of it. It wasn't a drug that agreed with me, but peer pressure and wanting to fit in, I was actually doing stuff that I didn't like to do, and that was smoking it, and all it done was make us sick. And there was a couple of times, obviously. One time it pops into mind was I'd been smoking it at lunchtime with buckets, and I was white as a ghost, feeling sick. And I was in a ladies' high school, and up in the top flat, in history I think we were in, and I said to teacher, I need to go to the toilet, I don't feel good. And then just boom, spewed all over his desk, and just kind of walked out of class. Of course, he's running out, I think I'm really no well. And then he seen my eyes, and they were red raw. And he's like, you're on drugs. And that was it. I slid down the wall, laughing in his face, couldn't control it. I guess I get suspended for 2 weeks for that.
Buckets?
Aye, that was buckets, aye.
I think we all done that in high school.
Aye.
So moving on for there, I know you started with petty crime first, as we all do.
Definitely.
And it was similar to the things I was doing around about that age, shoplifting, different shops and that. Can you talk me through that?
Well, what we used to do is, there was me, boy John, I can't say his second name, me, this other boy, and a lassie, but I call her the blonde one in the book, and to be honest with you, she's a wee secret. I'll never ever name who she was. And we used to go up, and she was a bit older, so we'd go into Asda, go into the carry-out aisle, and we'd grab every bit of booze. I think over 40% was going in the trolley, and like idiots, we would grab bottles of Moe, the champagne. There's something else that just tastes like piss water to me, but it was champagne, and you could show off, cover it with Chris, and just walk right at the door, and swagger out there like John Travolta, no without a care in the world. And one time it comes to mind, I was doing the ramps, and we're running through Top Rex, and you happened to be at the end, and I bumped right into you, and you had a full trolley. I mean, I don't know if you ever remember that.
Oh, I remember the story very well, because it's something that sticks in my mind. So you were coming one way. You know yourself, it's like a maze coming in.
Yeah, most definitely.
So you were coming one way and I was coming the other, but I could hear the trolley. I could hear the trolley, and I'm saying, the fuck's that noise? And I bumped right into you, as you said, and you had the full trolley overflowing with all these goods with no bags. Right? So I'm looking at it, and I'm only 10 or 11, and I'm looking, and I knew you were a mad bastard.
Aye.
And your words to me were, I hate it when my mad makes me do the trolley. And I'm thinking, you didn't even give me one bottle. You know what I mean? You just fucked off away. You just drifted away into the distance with the trolley.
Did I actually see that right?
Aye, he says to it was a mad story, but that shows you can still have a comedy. And you're robbing the place, but in a way you're only a kid.
Aye.
You're only 11, 12 yourself.
Oh, aye, definitely.
So moving on from there, because then I know you were young as well when the ecstasy came.
Aye.
And in the book you're talking about hanging around, there's a place called the Gully.
Yeah.
I hung around there myself.
You certainly did.
Took ecstasy at that age.
Aye, hung about ways personally.
It was Mitsubishi's back then. So speak me through that era.
Well, the sweeties, now there's a drug I loved. I mean, that was, you could have brought down barriers with that. See if Thatcher had just introduced ecstasy into Ireland, there wouldn't have been such a thing as the Troubles. Everybody loved each other. It was a great drug. No, I'm not promoting that drug, I'm really no, because like anything, it becomes a problem. But we grew up, it was a rave scene, and I ran about with a boy and his older brother. I mention him in the book, so I'm not mentioning names here. His older brother was right into the race scene. He used to have the bucket hats and the glasses with his head and that on them. And, you know, we really wanted to be part of that. And I first got into Sweeties. I'd taken a Mitsubishi in the gully. And as you know, there's a chip shop no far from there called Oasis. So I went, it's like hash. So I've took it and nothing happened. 5 minutes ago, I'm like, that was crap, it was that. I didn't realise it took 20 minutes or something to hit you. So then we all decided to go into a chip shop for juice. And I said, suddenly I get the stomach pains where it was starting to hit as big. And I said, I need to go to the toilet. I went in, emptied my bowels, so to speak. And then when I stood up, my eyes were just going dead, bouncing around the place. I was locked in an open toilet for 20 minutes because I couldn't find the handle. Sitting totally off to see the wizard, completely out of my banger. And finally, I get out. When I found the handle, all my pals were round and they were pissing themselves laughing at us because I was like, how the fuck can you get locked in an open toilet? And then that was it. We just spent the rest of the night planning to see me and you. I love you. I'm going to start a business with you in the morning. And then, of course, when you start coming down, you're like, get the fuck away from me. Because you're starting to hit the para stages by that point.
Reality's kicking in.
Reality's kicking in and dawn's starting to break.
What age are you at that time?
I was 13 when I first did my first sweaty. And but it actually happened. My pal, who was a wee bit older, he'd taken one the weekend before and he told us about it in school. And I was salivating all week in school. Couldn't wait till that Friday bell because I was thinking, wow, these things just sound incredible.
See, by age 13 up to age 16, was it just like a revolving door then? Just the same stuff every week, every weekend?
Definitely.
The drinking,
Definitely.
the gangs, the ecstasy, the crazy behaviour. What was that like?
Well, exactly like you say, in a lot of ways it was just pure repetitive, but sometimes it was boring. You were a bit. For us, we were out right into committing crime by that point, always looking for something to break into or shoplifting. What we used to do is there's a shop called Dixon's. It was a shop you buy Walkmans and all that. And the back end, a Discman was like a iPhone today. Everybody wanted one, and if you didn't have one, you weren't a cool kid, basically. So we would send in 5 hooligans looking about and looking suspicious as hell, and one guy would walk in after it. So when you've got all the staff looking at these hooligans waiting for them to steal something, you're in the back run, opening a glass case and filling your bag and right out the door with them, and they would sell like that. For there we would go straight into Glasgow and hit HMV. Now, I used to, the Titanic had just come out. So I'm sticking them down every orifice, basically, doing my arms. I was like fucking a transformer trying to walk, Optimus Prime trying to walk out the door with them all.
Because it was videotapes, wasn't it?
Videotapes.
They were massive.
Aye, big encyclopedia.
It's like that book.
Exactly, aye. And you're trying to walk out with 10 of them. It's just like, even the security, sometimes they'd just laugh at you. They'd still grab you, but they'd be like, come on, get a grip, you know what I mean? Like big solid thing trying to walk out the door.
Such a crazy time. So you're talking 25 years ago, maybe more than that.
Maybe more, aye.
You know what I mean? When we never had phones and stuff like that.
Aye,
so
was that 1997 or something?
Something like that. So when you're moving up towards age 16, right? Like your mid-teens, 16-year-old, is that when the violence started to happen then?
Violence started getting worse and worse. And that's a problem with violence. If you want to be involved in it, you always end up having to top half what you did the last time. And you know, there was one time it sticks out in my mind. It was the very first time I ever stabbed somebody. We'd been all drinking all day, because what had happened is we were up in the Cumbernauld Shopping Centre and it was roasting, it was beyond hot, and they used to leave the fire exits open, but years ago, if I remember, a staff storming, and there was a shop that didn't. So me and a wee guy, a skinny wee guy with big ears, ran in and grabbed 2 racks of whatever we could, and it turned out to be women's trousers. So it must have been 20 pairs each, easy, away down to Mulcroft. And it was like, we'd sold 1 pair, and so it was 1 bowl of bucky giving around everybody, and then 2 pairs, and then before we know it, there was a big queue of people, all women, because we were selling them a £5 a pop. We just wanted more bucky. You know, it was a good deal for him, and we sell all of them, or he'd sell all his, and everybody had bucky, and then with the pills as well. We're getting drunker and drunker, and as I said, it was exceedingly hot this day. Somebody decided, let's go down to Green Falls for a gang fight. personally, I wasn't even that up for it. I knew boys in Green Falls. Got on with them alright. It was a bit, you know, peer pressure again. I had a lot back on us, and at this point, like, you're carrying one to carry one, never any intention of using it, carrying it to show off, basically. And we ended up walking down in a big fight erupted down there, and this guy came into the shop, about the same age as us, and decided to walk right through the middle of it. I don't know why he done it to this day, but I don't really know what happened next. All I know is the lock back ended up opening my hand, and I grabbed him, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And then it was like all the sound of the fight and everything just all drifted away. And then when my vision and my sound and that came back, that's where the guy was lying on the ground seriously injured. Multiple stabbings to his chest and belly. We all scarpered. One guy apparently got pulled in, and within 10 minutes of being pulled in, they had everybody else's name. Me and the boy Scott get pulled in first, then another 3. We'll get charged with serious assault to permanent disfigurement and permanent endangerment of life. Now, a lot of people might not know what that charge is, but it's the kind of same severity as attempted murder. Attempted murder is one charge up, but it is a very severe charge, and it's a high court charge. So I was only 14, give or take, 14 at the time, and we'd all been taken to Erd's Sheriff Court. We were already released in bail, and they wanted to, back then it was a year and a day to take you up to trial. I don't know if it still is, it might not be. I know they'd extended it with COVID and that there. So basically what times they wanted to send us to the High Court, and my lawyer says they weren't too keen on sending a juvenile at my age. The rest of them were all...
What age were you at the time again?
I was 14. There was one other juvenile that was a year younger than me. The rest of them were 16. So there was 2 age juveniles under 16, 3 over 16. But they wanted me more than anybody. And they eventually kept putting it back. And Lord Judge Dixon, Sheriff Dixon, was an old stick in the mud, but he was a sticker for the rules, and they flung the charge out. To a lot of people that would be a reason to celebrate, but for me all it did was give me that feeling of invincibility, that the law didn't apply to me, that I could do anything I wanted and the law would never catch up with us.
See, looking back now at that incident, would you say that guy was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it was like an unprovoked attack, or the guy, would you say he was like, he had nothing to do with gangs or anything like that? What was the story? Well,
that poor guy, you know, I feel guilty about some stuff I've done and some stuff I've let go. That I'll always feel guilty for. I feel terrible. Now, me meeting that guy wouldn't change it, but if the guy ever heard me, I would truly apologise to him. That guy was nothing to do with anything, and you know, I could have wrecked that guy's life. As a man who's been stabbed myself, I know the trauma that comes with it. And this guy, I knew people fear that scheme, and 100% he only came out the shop. Now, why he chose to walk through the middle of that, I don't know, but it still doesn't give me the right to do what I done to him. And I really do feel a lot of sorrow and guilt for what I done to that man.
It's good that you can speak about these things now, Paul, because you spoke to me about it before. We don't realise we're trying to keep up appearances. You know, we're putting out that mask, and it's ran by fear back then.
It's exactly what it is.
People think of you, they'll think you're a bam, you're a dafty.
Yep.
You need to keep that image up. Right, so you're now 14 moving into 16. You've been involved in different violent offences. You've walked through that one, right?
Yep.
Technicality. I know you were also involved when you were stabbed at a young age, at 16.
That's right.
Was that the first time you were attacked?
It was the first time I was ever stabbed. It was by far the most serious. And what actually happened with that is that was a hell of mind making as well, though. Well, to a degree, it was what had actually happened. We were in a house party up the stairs, and me, another boy, and my brother were walking down the stairs. I don't know, 11, 12 at night. And I'd been drunk, taking sweeties, and I believe I maybe bounced, tripped and hit the guy's door, but I didn't kick his door or anything like that. And I had a big the butcher knife, the one that's got the kind of cover at the end of my leg. And we were halfway up to the bridge that would take you from Terbolton to the Asda Bridge. and the dad ran out, and the dad's like, for this what that was, big fat bastard, but muscly and all, and he's ran at us, so I've ran back at him, I've pulled it out, stabbed his dad in the chest, and couldn't get it back out, and just as that, his sons jumped in behind him, stabbed us there, and then the dad stabbed me twice there. And then my pal ran down and he covered theirs, and he got stabbed 3 or 4 times in the head. And then with that, somebody had looked out the window for the party and seen we were fighting, and a full crowd of people ran out. The only thing that saved their lives at the exact same time they were running down the stairs, or the police were starting to appear. And the police obviously ran there, tried to grab me and another boy first, realised that I'd been stabbed, phoned an ambulance. The ambulance eventually came. But I'll tell you one thing, Jim, I was lying in the clothes and everybody was screaming and shouting, and it was like, it was as if I was just watching it on telly. It was like I wasn't there. And you know, I'm not ashamed to say I was praying to God that day, that night, please God, don't let me die. I'm too young to die. But of course it was all me, wasn't it? What I'd just done to somebody else.
Did you feel like your life was slipping away for you then when you're lying there?
You could feel it. You could honestly feel you know, it's funny, lying on that cold clothes, the floor, it gave me the feeling of my own grave. I know that's quite a morbid thing to say, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I was sinking into my own grave. A bit like that bit in Trainspotting where he's looking up and he's getting lower and lower. And I get rushed into hospital and rushed into theatre. Finally, the next day I woke up on morphine and whatnot, and you know, in the hospital, I was, I'm going to change, I'm going to do this, I'm sick of this life. But then you get out and you hear a cheer going up for your pals, all the pats in the back. It's very easy to forget about all the promises you just made to yourself.
How bad were your injuries then?
It's suddenly bad. By the times I got stabbed in the guts twice, 3 times there, and because it's a serrated lockback, one of them pierced my bowel 3 times, so I've got a big scar that runs right up there as well, but I had to take out the whole stomach basically take it in. It's almost like a puncture repair kit. You've got to make sure there's no holes, and in my case there was, so that they sew us all up, which stopped my bowels from working right. And then I had, in the hospital, my bladder had stopped working. I had over 3 litres of urine when they done a urine scan, so that they put the catheter in, and it was just as soon as the catheter went right down your old thing, mate, the urine just flowed out, excuse me, and then I had the physiotherapist try to help us walk again. I was crunched there for at least 6-7 weeks. It was a badging.
It never stopped you from going back out into the streets and continuing on that path?
When I was in the hospital, I was thinking, definitely, that's me changing and whatnot. But as soon as I heard all the cheers for the pals, it just all drifted away. All the promises, all the false promises.
You're only young as well, aren't you? You're only 16, 15. So I know before you got your first heavy prison sentence, there was also another incident involving a taxi.
No, it was the first one was the taxi one was involving the big one. The first one was we went to steal a car with my pal. I'll not name him, but we both know him, and we got in, and my pal decided to tell us after we'd got into the car that he couldn't drive. You know, thinking, what kind of fucking car for you? What do you mean you can't drive? Somebody had spotted us breaking into the car, and the police came from everywhere. They grabbed the 2 of us, and because when they started the engine, it was reset, it wasn't a car theft, and I got 4 months for that. But it was really just, I was on remand for 5 weeks, and then I went up to Pullman for 3 weeks basically and get out the door, but I wasn't out for very long.
So see, that's when the taxi incident happened?
Yeah.
Can you talk me through that?
Yeah, so what happened is the taxi driver, kid's on his white on white. They'll not obviously name him, but the guy makes it to people to this day, apparently, that he was just an innocent driver, and of course I phoned his taxi and jumped in and tried to rob him, and when I couldn't get his money, stabbed him. Complete nonsense. The guy was giving me 1,000 packs of sweeties to sell, and I was bringing him his money every time, and he's basically, for some reason, I don't know what had happened is actually we tanned the shop the night before, me and my 2 pals, and we got in through the skylight, and as soon as we got in, the whole street just illuminated with blue flashing lights. Now if the police had actually come up quietly, they'd have caught us in the act, but they've decided to put the lights on, and it just alerted us a mile away. So we were running across all the rooftops, and they're chasing us, and we managed to get down off the roof and managed to get away. But the next day, I mean, this shows how stupid your thinking is at the time. We got into the same shop, buy a bottle of bucky, stood outside drinking it, and I was collecting them money for people and giving it to my wee missus who I was with at the time. And the coppers have just came from everywhere, they've grabbed us. And they're like, right, who turned the shop last night? I'm not mate, no, who turned the shop? They're phone cuffed us, they're walking up, like, what's the chance, who turned the shop? I said, I don't know. They said, you should call me a prick, yeah? I said, I never called you a prick. He went, he did. He said, I shoot into Monday, this was a Friday. I said, you know what, you're a prick, you fat bastard. So I got a punch in the jaw for that as well, and weekender. And in that time, this guy thought he would go to my mother's and father's house, my stepfather's house. He's banging on the door, and he's a good pal. He was a pal of my stepfather. Yeah, Paul owes me X amount of money. And my mother's like, what are you talking about? My stepfather, Alec, came out, he's like, what do you mean Paul owes you money for what? Oh, Paul's been selling sweeties for me. So my stepdad punched him in the jaw. The two of them kind of rolled about, a bit of ding dong. He's like, how dare you ever give him stuff to sell? My house would have got raided. I'd have took the blame of that. So I promise I won't do it again. So I get bail on the Monday. My mother had came to court and she was like, Mon, I'll take you for a pint. And usually I'd be asking her, so I'm thinking, there's something up here. Didn't have a clue what it was. And went in, I got a pint, and she's like, you selling something? Me? No, never. What do you mean? So I like, cut the crap. Yeah. He came to the door looking for his money, and I was like, what? And she told me exactly what happened. So blood was boiling. I got back to Cumbernauld. I phoned my missus first. Have you got that money? I got all the money. Right, brilliant. Then I phoned him. Oh, I'm really sorry. I phoned the police station myself, kidding on I was your uncle, and he says that you're in custody. I said, I've never once bumped you. So I gave him all his money, and he gave us £500 back. He says, that'll keep me going. And that was it. I said, look, never ever tell him, ever. I said, 'cause he'll kick me out of the house, and that'll be the end of it. And a couple of days went by, I'd go more off him, and my pal, I told my pal about the whole altercation, and he's the only one that did know. A couple of days went by, he phoned me, and he's like, he's through here telling everybody with a pair of ears that you're just his puppet on a string, that you dance to his tune. He's making you to be a band, basically. And I was like, what? So she knew I would have looked into it more. But back then, your ego gets in the way. And I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And my two pals actually, are from Glasgow, says, look, they don't know us. Why don't we go through? I said, well, I'm doing them, but you're more welcome to join me. And I phoned them. I says, come down and drop off my sweeties. So he drove down to a street in Allen Falls. It's in the Seafar area of Cumbernauld. Quite secluded. And I've got in. And no sooner I got in, I was kind of looking about for my pal Gibby, and he's then opened the back door, jumped in from behind him, stabbed him, I stabbed him, and then we kind of left him in quite a bad way, and we've got out and we've got away. But, you know, I didn't even touch his face, I left him on his lap. I mean, so he's went to the police. He can't exactly tell the police, I've been getting a 16-year-old to sell drugs for us. So he says, it was him and this is what he done, blah, blah, blah. He's tried to rob me and I've not given him my money, so he stabbed us. So then we got in a taxi back to Glasgow, and it was £12, the taxi, and I had a tenner on us. I gave the guy the tenner. I says, look, I get your taxi all the time. I'll give you another £2 next time. He started, I want my £2. So I pulled the lot back out and I said, I can give you this. Sure, cool. And he's flung the tenner at me, just get the fuck out of my taxi. I said, I don't want your tenner. I gave him it back. So, of course, he went to the police as well. And then that night, Derek Quay shop got robbed. Now, I was wearing a stack of Bibles and all my kids' souls. I done every other charge I went to court for. I was guilty of it, and I done my thing for it. I was totally 110% innocent of robbing that shop. And to make matters worse, I was actually making sure I was on. I don't know if you know the street, Belrock Street, it's in the Cranhill area.
I know well.
Brilliant. So I was in Belrock Street, and I was on a street camera purposely on it because I wanted the police to see that I was in Glasgow when all this happened. Funny enough, that footage miraculously vanished. No, they couldn't find that. I right tell them. They could find any other thing, but they can't find that. and that shop got robbed, and then that all happened on the Saturday, and then that all happened on the Tuesday. No, I was right. The Saturday that happened, and then the Monday, my mother phoned us to say, by the way, the police have just raided my house and your work for you. I used to work in Swords Bakery at the time. Looking for you. You better hide out through there, and I'll come through and give you some money. Just if you want to stay out of the way. And I said, no, don't you do that. I said, I don't want you involved. So I had money on us, but then you got to carry it at 8 in the morning, and I walked out, and every street camera in Belrock Street was following us. Straight away, that should have been a big ping above my head that there was something I missed. But into the shop, go to carry it, walk back out, and that was about 10:05, sitting in her house about a lassie's house where I was running about at the time, sitting in the house, must have been about 9:20, with architects boom in the door, and I looked out the window. I was going to jump out the window. It was only one up, and cut through the backs, and through there was a wee Polish with blonde hair. She knew me well, and she's waving at us. I think, you bastard, you. And what could you do now? They were everywhere. So our mum opened the door, they all ran in, grabbed us, took us down the stairs and all like that. So, where were you up to on Saturday then? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you were a busy boy on Saturday. Like, nah, I might not talk about the taxi thing. Took us back to the police station, all the way through, like that. So who's Craig Gibb? Like, never heard of him. Come on. Ridley, who's Craig Gibb? Never heard of him. Okay. Walked into the Charles bar and my mate Gibby was standing there. How you doing, Paul? And I was, oh, Gibby, man, I've just spent the last 10 minutes. I don't know you, you know what I mean? So I took us up, they interviewed us, and you know, no comment. And then they got to robbing the shop, and I was kind of popped out. What are you talking about? And I was like, did you not find it strange why the armed response were there for a wee tip like you? And I was like, you talking about what gun? I don't know what you're talking about, you. And then I kind of put the brakes on and went, do you know what? No, get back to no comment. I'll try to fuck with you.
Is it an armed robbery then, with a gun?
Well, there isn't such a charge in Scotland as armed robbery. It's assault and robbery with possession of a firearm. But because they couldn't find the gun, they couldn't do it with the firearm part. But it was certainly in the indictment as that. And
is this before you got your big prison sentence?
No,
then?
this was all part of it. This was all part of it.
So, see, can you speak me through that day then, when they'd finally got you? And I know it was multiple different charges for a whole host of different things, right?
Yep.
But see, when you are in custody, where did you were on remand?
Aye.
What prison did you go to?
So, when they eventually, when that one I was talking about, I had to get bail for that, and then I'd been down another twice, and they'd put an open warrant out for us, and it was just a D10 because it was straight to Berlin. So I'd get a weekend, I'd went to court on a Monday, the courts weren't interested, just remand them, sent us to Berlin. And you know, I was still in my head, I'll be out in a couple of months, this won't be it. But they're like grasping just how serious it was. And spent 7 months on remand, and in that time, 2 of my co-accused came in, one get kept in with us, and one get out on bail, and then we eventually, after around October time, we went to the High Court in Glasgow, and we get stuck. No, it'd have been, September, because we get into October, because we spent 2 weeks in the High Court cells, just sitting there all day, doing nothing, because there was a murder trial going up the stairs in the same courtroom we were meant to be in, and that obviously trumps everything. So eventually we got up there in court, so to speak, and we were sitting there, and you know, the indictment came through. There was 15 charges on the indictment, and I was involved in like 13 of them. I mean, it was me they wanted. And the first couple of days, it's called a KC now, but back then it was a QC, Queen's Counsel, coming up and saying, look, Paul, I've got to be honest with you, son, you're looking at 15 years here. And my attitude, what do you mean 15 years? I'm only fucking 16. No, she's never ran about stabbing people, don't she? And then reality was starting to sink in. And then the trial was about to start, and they came down with a deal. Basically, if we all pled to certain bits, they would cut the indictment up. So we would all still get sentenced, but it wouldn't be really just me taking the full rap. And there was a couple of them that won me up for it. One person was definitely up for it, and that's how I ended up coming so close to him. So that's what happened, doing up. And then the final nail in the coffin was the taxi driver that I'd stabbed. He had turned up to court with a 3-piece suit on. So not only was going to rat his out, he was going to look good doing it. And there was something about that suit that just annoyed me. I thought, you dirty rat bastard, you. So we get took up, we all pled to certain bits. I get 6 year, one get 2 year, one get 4 year, and one get 7 year. And the one that get 7 year didn't get me on me because the charges were, he was in the court acting like a bit of a clown, making faces and all that. And it was pissing me off because this is Glasgow High, Jim. They can sentence you 100 years if they want. There's no time limit in the High Court. Now you go there, it's a scary place.
Again, that's no you being your real self, innit? No, that's that daftness on the mask on. Oh, look at me, I'm the clown.
Aye.
So I was a class clown myself in front of an audience, still am sometimes. But as you said, you know how serious it is.
Yeah.
You're not wanting the full sentence.
Aye.
You know what I mean? You're thinking, right, I'll admit to this. As you said, it'll get broke up. And I maybe get 5 year or 4 year or something like that. But so you get sentenced to 6 year, right? And so where did you go straight for there? Pullman?
Right, so what basically happened is that the judge told us he wanted to give his mare that day, but because I broke off the assault and robbery of the shop, I was taking that to trial. So because of that, he couldn't really sentence as much as he wanted to. So they sent it straight to Pullman, and that was in October of 01. And then, October of 01, straight up to Pullman. And then on the Monday, that was the Friday, and then the Monday I went back to the High Court to go through trial, and went through trial, get found guilty, and got another 4 years concurrent. It's something I was totally innocent of. Yeah, I know you've had pretty people on the show before that I've been totally innocent. Their cases were far more severe than mine, but this is the sort of dirty tricks that police can pull, know what I mean?
Still a serious charge, mate.
Yeah.
4 years, you know what I mean? Your life's... We don't get a long time here.
We don't.
To spend it all that time locked up in prison, I could only imagine what it'd be like. So if you can briefly talk me through your first years then, how long did you spend on that first sentence?
That first one I done 4 years, I done it.
So for age 16 up to 20, age 20?
16 to 21, aye.
21. And so what was your experience like in Pullman then? Were you alright in there?
Pullman was just full of carry on. All young boys. I mean, Pullman could be a violent place. I remember a boy get slashed at a couple of chips. I swear to God, it was kind of that way at times. The boy in the hot plate gave his pal a big mountain of chips. The next boy, he got about 4 chips. And the guy's like, you doing? Give me more chips. Fuck off. So the young boy took that a bit serious. A wee bit over serious, if you ask me, but he's went in and got a razor, came back out, jumped right out of the hot plate, ripped him right down there. And the blood and all the food and all that, it was disgusting.
I think I've heard a lot of stories where they say that the YOs can be more dangerous because the young team have got something to prove.
It's all bravado.
You know, and that's where the danger comes with the violence and stuff like that. But was there any other instance that stand out with your time there?
I mean, we had a lot of fun as well. There was, as I says, there was a good few slashings, people getting hit with snooker balls and socks and all that. But it wasn't all day to day that. Now it was more carry on in Pullman, and we used to get drugs in and alcohol. We used to get them flung out of the fence. And one time, it always sticks in my mind, we'd get 2 big 2 litre bottles of vodka, they were iron brew bottles obviously, filled with vodka, flung out of the fence, with drug sellotaped to them. My pal brought them down, and me all took the keys, we were drinking the vodka and that, and then we all went down to art. We were all sitting in art class, and the kids are starting to kick and we're all like that. The art teacher ended up, he's getting out, he's like that to the screw. Oh, they bastards are in there on fucking drugs. And the screw came in and we were all sitting like, the screw just laughed. He's like, what kid today, you know what I mean?
Must have been some scene.
Oh, you're talking about 15 years, I was sitting there sitting trying to do that with the pencils now to get a tune. And I used to also get in the visits, get wee iron brew bottles full of whiskey. And it was the lassie, the blonde one, would bring them in for us. She would do a very big coat, they were hesitant to search a woman back then. Big long coat as women tend to wear, with 4 wee 30 pence bottles of iron brew, filled up with whiskey with a wee bit of iron brew in them just to cover them. And then she'd go in and to the canteen, she'd buy the sweeties, the crisps and all that, sit down and then put them on the table, and during the visit I'd be sitting drinking whiskey, and then one time I just get drunk as a skunk and fell off the chair and all that. Screw came out like, the fuck is wrong with him? And like, sitting steaming, man, woke up in the segregation unit.
Blackout?
Aye, pure blackout, woke up, it was like getting lifted outside waiting on the post station. woke up in the seg, you know, like, oh, what the fuck.
It's madness, isn't it? You see, when you look back now, you must think, fucking hell, man. You know, I think you said to me, it's like looking at somebody else's life.
It definitely is.
When you talk about all the chaos, but it's good that we can laugh about different stories as well. Right, so how did you feel when you were getting out for that first sentence then?
Scared. Really scared. And, you know, your world's that small for the past 4 years. And then just stepping near the fence, it suddenly gets a whole lot bigger. And you've got all the problems, the bills and whatnot. I mean, see in the jail, see if you can remember to wipe your own arse. You're already above the curve, I mean, you're already off to the races because everything's done for you. Right? There's no thinking in the jail. You're fed, you're clothed, watered. You don't need to think. There's no bills, there's no nothing. So suddenly all that was coming, and then I get out, and of course I was still young and stupid, and went right back into Cranhill and wanted to still be. Like to prove that the jail hadn't broke us and things like that, and all that done was just got us deeper and deeper with some serious people.
I know you, as you said there, you started getting involved in hanging around the East End of Glasgow, serious people, doing some right dodgy stuff, so you're only out for a few weeks.
Aye.
And then I know you were involved in an incident that would, in a way, it can cause a lot of trauma for the rest of your life, but dramatically change the outcome of your life as well, and PTSD, all of these things that catch up with you when you're in your 30s and into your 40s. You know, when you're looking back on all these crazy acts of violence, not just that you gave out, but the ones that you endured as well. Yeah. So I know there was a shooting incident.
Aye.
Can you talk me through that?
So what had happened is, as I says, it was these were some serious coconuts I was running about with. They weren't the small time criminals, they were villains now, and they had everything set up. And the last time they wanted was somebody telling me try to upset the apple cart. So I got into an altercation with this guy, and he basically went and get permission off the people who were running out of powder if it was ready to shoot us. And they must have said aye. And what had happened, they've set us up a billion. They basically says, I've got all sorts of coke in here, man. And when he opened the door, I could see it was all black, all the whole clothes was black, and I thought there's something I miss here. But I went in, and as soon as I had the door shut, I just heard a click of the lock. Somebody punched it in the side of the head. Somebody's trying to stab us, but it just more or less scratched across there. And then out for the end of the tunnel, the end of the hall, somebody came out and just done that with a gun and put it right, a revolver, right to my head. And I tell you what, Joe, I just thought, I'm going to die in the middle of Glasgow. I'm going to get rolled up in a rug and flung in a ditch. None of my family, nothing. You know, a lot of the time, and a lot of it I deserved, because that's the life I wanted to live.
See, in that moment, was it like time had stopped? When he's pulled the gun out, and he's put the gun to your head, right? And all the people are there. Is that like a moment in time where, as you said, did your life flash between your eyes, or in front of your eyes, where it's like, you're picturing you're going to die here, you're going to be rolled up in a carpet, as you put it. What type of feeling was that?
Well, you know, I was stuck to the ground with fear, but maybe I had that gun to my head for 3 or 4 seconds, felt like days, and after the 3rd or 4th second, I was just thinking, hurry up and pull the trigger, just get this here and done with, because the fear of it, I knew I wasn't getting out alive anyway. And then I seen his hand starting to shake. And then suddenly I finally relief came out, I thought, he's not going to shoot me.
Were they all shouting stuff?
They were all shouting stuff. Now what they were shouting was just muddled noise in the background. I really don't know until he shot us in the leg. But before that, I could hear one of them shouting, shoot the bastard, shoot me in the head, because he'll come back for the rest of us. And then they were all obviously trying to egg him on to shoot us in the head.
Did you not think he was going to shoot you then?
No, I didn't. I thought when I seen his handshake,
so what happened?
He just moved the gun down a bit and then just pulled the trigger, and he blasted us there at the top of the thigh.
On your left side?
On my left side, aye, and it was a hollow point bullet, so it just made a wee hole go in, made some mess coming back out though.
Did it come out the back of your leg?
Aye, right through.
And then what happened?
Then what happened is I turned round and the man who sprayed CS gas mice. Well, it wouldn't have been the real CS gas, but it was still, it seemed like sore stuff. And then I just got a drought of adrenaline and I just ran. It was this wee skinny guy at the door. I just bounced him off the door and they'd left the keys in the door. And I'd unlocked the door and just as that one and clocked us with a hatchet at the back of the head.
But just as you're going out the door?
I was going out the door when I hit a hatchet down there and all the blood was pouring down me. So I've got out and then I've managed to get across the road and into another close and I've pulled myself up the stairs and I've just banged. At this point I'm starting to get really woozy. I banged on my pal's door and I've opened the door, I've just fell in, I've been shot. They've always thought I get shot in the head and she dialed 999 and I'm telling you within a minute and a half I thought the place was surrounded with armed response. We were on rooftops. There was a helicopter. I mean, it was serious because they had the report, obviously, male shot in the head. Now this is serious. But what they have to do is first is they have to search everybody. There must have been 15, 16 people in that house. They had to search them all for a firearm, including me. And I was lying in the hall and I was kind of coming out and out of consciousness. And I've come out of consciousness. This guy standing pointing a rifle down at us. He's like, shows your hands, shows your fucking hands. I was like, it's me, shot you prick, fuck off. He's like, listen, you want to show your hands or I'll shoot you myself. I'm like, alright, calm down, mate. Then out my hands, they're searched us. And then they're like, right, no firearm found. We'll let the paramedics in. Then the paramedics came in, and they put us in the gurney. They whisked us out. And when I was going out, there was a whole crowd of people congregated outside. And somebody shouted, you alright, Paul? And I was like, fucking fine. But, you know, it was when you the next morning and started really feeling that I'd actually just been shot. Now, this is quite serious. But something that, what I didn't like is the lassie I was nipping about at the time, she phoned my mother. She knew I'd get shot in the leg, but she liked to dramatise things. She phoned my mother and says, Paul's been shot in the head. So my mama, so it was actually my stepfather that took the call, sorry. My mama worked in Seafar petrol station at the time. He's jumped in his car, drove right across, ran in, told my mother that she's freaking. She's phoned her boss. Her boss says, look, just leave the shop. Don't worry, just get out and get in that car and get straight to the hospital. We'll have somebody there in 2 minutes to take care anyway. So they've got in the car, but they were racing across the motorway. My auntie and uncle overtook them. They must have been dead 120 mile an hour. They're all flat running to Glasgow Royal, expecting where's he going to be? Is he going to be in the morgue? Is he going to be brain damaged? There's so many. It's a gunshot to the head. There's no way he's going to be the same person. And then when they got in, they seen us in a room sitting up, and it was she done that just to make it sound more dramatic, and I'll never forgive her for that because that was just totally uncalled for.
What was how long were you in the hospital for then?
Well, I was supposed to be in a week, but the police come up the next day. Like, what happened? I says, I fell. He says, you're funny, you wee prick. I said, I don't give a fuck what you think, fuck off. And then just the doctor came. I was like, listen, doctor, I'm not feeling good. They're really making me put under pressure here. And the doctor said to him, look, you need to get out. And he's like to the doctor, he's at it, he's trying to avoid questioning. And I'm like, well, we can't allow you to think with the patient if he's saying he's really not feeling up to it. And then as soon as he left, I phoned my mate. I said, get up here with clays, stuck my clays on and bolted at the hospital. And I was hiding out in Cumbernauld for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and I eventually tracked us down at my ma's. And they get nothing out of us, you know what I mean? I just told them, what, I hate police, you can fuck off. That was a long time ago, of course. I don't really bother now.
See, how long were you then out for, back on the streets, before you were back in prison again?
Well, I believe my attitude to the police that day. I think they've told Cumbernauld police, try and get him, because I was carrying a blade. I get back carrying a lot back after. I wasn't carrying it really before I get shot, but I was carrying it after it, because the fear and all that started thinking in that point, the reality of it, and that lot back made us feel a bit more secure. And it was a Friday and I was walking down the Rocky, and I was with this lassie, and I'd seen two police walking up at me, and I pulled a lot back and I flung it, and it basically hit a tree and landed. So I turned around to run back up the hill. There was four coming down the way, and I've grabbed us and I'm like, what's your name? I says, Alan Patterson. I was a wee guy for Glenny, he was for the Cabrini area, and I used his name constantly. I mean, this poor wee guy's probably in Guantanamo Bay doing 30 years.
Charge sheet, like that.
Aye, because of me. So It's they've took us to Cumbernauld Police Station. I gave an address in Cranhill and his name. They're like, "What you doing out here?" "Oh, I was just out visiting family and that." I was in there like, "Look, you'll probably get out in a couple of hours. It's your first offence." And I says, "Right, okay," and I'm sitting there grinning like a chase-your cat, thinking, "Oh, this is magic." And the police have come in about 4 or 5 hours later. They're like, "How you doing, Paul?" So, "Who's Paul?" Like, you're still sticking to this name?" I says, "Aye, my name's Alan." And they took us into HR's desk. There was a photo. He's like, "Do you know Paul Allen was in there back then? My name's Paul Smith. We'll get into that in a minute." They're like, "Do you think Paul Allen and Alan Patterson could be twins?" I just went, "Fuck off, man." They're like, "You're getting charged with perverting the course of justice as well." So took us back to court on the Monday, and it was a straight remand. And then at that time, that new law came in that you could get up to 4 years. So I went after my fully committal, went to court, and they turned around and says, "Well, because he's recall, he's 6 years, we have to remit him back to Glasgow High." Remitted us back to the High Court for a poxy lot back. Then the judge just ran wild on us. But you know something, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it finally slapped us in the mouth and gave us what I needed to get out of the shit I was in.
Did they sentence you to 4 year, right enough?
Well, with the times, I'd basically 11 months for my recall to do, and then they gave us 40 or 49 months for sort of 42 months for something consent top of that.
Where did you serve that?
So back to Berlin for about 2 weeks, and then I got moved down to Greenock for about 3-4 months, and I got moved to Kilmarnock.
What was that experience like? There was an incident in Kilmarnock prison actually, where you spoke about how it was one of the most horrible things, acts of violence you'd ever witnessed, and it was in the gym.
Aye.
Can you speak me through that?
Yeah, definitely. So what happened is that there was a guy from Pollock had come in, and he'd actually slashed this lifer's brother on the outside. And so there was 2 lifers and a boy for Paisley doing tenure. And obviously I'm not going to mention them, but everybody, and people think it's his baldy I'm talking about, it's no, it's a totally different thing. And they were in the gym, and the guy had says, "I come down to the gym and I'll take you a square go." So this guy, his brother had been slashed, came down with the 2 other boys, and they didn't even, there wasn't a word muttered. They flew for him from 3 different directions, slashed him, stabbed him, and then they picked up a big 20 kilo weight, and they were smashing his head in. And I'm telling you, Jim, it was disgusting. I'd never once, I was wanting to actually go out and say enough, boys, but I was saying, I'm not getting fucking beaten. The next one to be lying there, the screws were even shouting, "Please, please," he said, "enough." That's what I hate about private jails. They're not shite bags. SPS screws, they'll run right in. Now, these private jails, won't they? Because they were working in Tesco 2 weeks ago. Now they're suddenly dealing with some of the hardest criminals in Scotland, know what I mean? And it's just no well designed. That's why when you hear all these serious things, they always happen in the private jails. SPS screws, say what you want about them, but it's the same as with Reliance. The Reliance, seeing you got a funeral now, they turn up with a Reliance gear and all that one. Back in the day, seeing it used to be 2 screws that'd take you, SPS. They'd wear a suit, a black tie, you'd show respect, and they'd always take a jacket to cover the handcuffs. Now they take you all big show and dance.
It's on display, isn't it? Aye. It's on display, but that's crazy. How was your life building up to getting released this time?
This time it was totally different. Thinking was totally different. I was going straight. I'd had enough. I could finally think and breathe straight for the first time in a long time. And when I get out, the person that picked us up says, "If you ever want a parcel on it," and they start what, I says, "No, leave me alone. That's all I want, is left alone." And you know, I was lucky that night I met Stacey, my missus, I'm still with today. And Stacey was a very big part of changing my life.
What year were you released?
2009, 19th of February 2009.
And that was the last time you were ever in prison?
Last time I was ever in trouble.
See, between that time, right? I'm sure it was between 2009, 2011.
Yeah.
I know you were involved in another 2 acts of violence against yourself.
Yeah.
Where you were stabbed and also slashed in separate incidents.
Yeah.
Can you talk me through the first incident?
So the first incident happened when my co-accused for the bigging finally got out, and we'd been together. My missus hated him. She just did not like him at all. And she didn't like the fact that I was going to be out drinking with him this day. But she understood that he was just out, man. He'd seen each other in years. So we'd been drinking heavily all day, and we ended up in Fleming Shop. And I went into the shop and I bought whatever, and I came out, and this guy was arguing with my pal. So I ran in and I stuck it at him, and he pulled a blade out. And I was that drunk. I was like, you gotta do that, you prick. And I started fighting with him, and I'm fighting with him, he's stabbing me. And I eventually stabbed his the lung, and I've just kind of collapsed. Then my pal, I don't know where he was when all that happened, but he's ran back here and grabbed us and took us down through the tunnel, and I went to where my mother stayed in that street. And our neighbours, a boy Ian, a good boy, ran out with a lot of towels, and he was holding them against all the stabbings, and that helped save my life. I've got all the time, respect in the world for that man. And you know, there was something that happened that day that really annoyed me. The police were there in minutes, as they always are. The police were sitting laughing, right? Now, I don't give two monkeys if they're laughing at me, but my mother could see them laughing. And I'll tell you another thing, see if it was one of their sons or daughters lying there, I wouldn't find it funny. But, you know, that is what it is. And then the slashing, so at times, sorry with the stabbing, I had a punctured lung. I was in hospital for about a week, walking about with a suitcase with my own blood in it. Disgusting, a big tube running out the side of me.
That's crazy, wait, you're only still young, aren't you? Mid-20s?
24.
24, so how long between that incident and then the slashing then?
Maybe 18 months. It wasn't that long.
Can you talk me through how did that happen?
Well, what had happened is after the stabbing, I cut ties with everybody, bar Stacey. And, you know, it was fucking love's young dream. We were loved up with each other, and we were doing good things, got the pictures, going out for meals, really getting to know each other well. And at the weekends we'd stay in and watch movies and all that. It was fantastic times. And then one time we went up to my dad's, he stayed in Neighbouring Hill. It's a scheme up the top end of Cumbernauld. And we were outside, and this guy shouted, "Oh, Smithy, you ain't a gangster because you done 10 years, you prick." For one, I didn't do 10 years. I got 6 and another 4 concurrent, and then another 4 obviously after that. I said, "I came in, piss off, you wanker." I went to walk away. He's like, "Oh, you fucking prick, I'm talking to you." So I turned in and I said, "Look, piss off, mate." He tried to go for us, I whacked him, he's fell on his arse. And then he was full of jellies, tomazepam. So he was like a wibble bobble. As soon as I've hit him, he's getting right back up. So I've hit him again, and he's went back down again. I've kicked him in the head this time. And just as that, his bird walked in. Now I knew his bird for Cranhill. And she did stab people. She stabbed my pal. And he shouted, "Fucking stab that cow, talking about Stacey, my missus." And I said, "You stabbed nobody." And I've turned around just like he's up that jack in the box, pulled the Stanley out. He caught me threat there. And I really wasn't sure what happened. I said, "What'd you just do there, you prick?" And he caught me around there, and I said, "Right, we're on." I was on top of him, and I was strangling the life of him. And all the blood was pouring in him. I mean, it was like bucket loads. I knew.
Where was this happening, in the street?
In the street, just right outside, I don't know if you see the shop, in the Bra area.
Right.
And Neighbouring Hill area, right outside there, basically. So, just as that, Stacey's phoned an ambulance. And I says, "What are you doing for an ambulance?" She's like, "Your fucking cheeks on your shoulder." I says, "I knew the post would be there first. I didn't want him in the jail, because I wanted to get him in the street." And I kept strangling him, but what happened is the more and more blood was losing, the less and less the grip was getting. And I says, "Right, get him, get off." He's like, "You'll do me." I says, "You're effing right, I will. But I don't want to have to go into Berlin to do it." So I let him get away, and then the coppers have came. And by this point, I could barely storm when I went up blood had lost. And they're like, "What happened?" I said, "My usual, I fell." And they're like, "You fell? You seem to take your cheek." So, "Look, take it or leave it, it's your business. I'm telling you that's what happened." And then, I always think the police wanted me to die, because our local hospitals, is Munglands. They phoned Larbert, who didn't even know where they were going. 45 minutes. I lay there bleeding to death. I collapsed 3 times. And finally they got us in a hospital, in an ambulance, took us to Larbert, and the paramedics told us, we didn't even know where we were going. We had to phone and find out which street was where and whatnot. So why would the police do that? I mean, that's not a mistake. That's why, I don't understand why phone Larbert. There's no reason for it. That's not even a hospital. And They eventually go to Larbert. Larbert turned in and says, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. That's too serious." Put us back in an ambulance, sent us to Monklands. Obviously, they'd bandaged up. And then the next day, a specialist for Southern General came out. And I'll give the guy his due. He sewed us up really well. But then I went back to Monklands and he says, "Oh, we could split the scar up and make it thinner with something called a micro stitch." That was about 2 years later. And then I woke up with a zigzag in my face. I was going to strangle the guy. But, you know, that was a good few years ago now. So that is getting lighter.
The operation went wrong then? But
I don't know about that. It was Monklands. They're not exactly notorious for doing a good job.
How many stitches did you get on,
Oh,
Paul?
can I tell you, mate? Hundreds. A good few. It was too many to count. I remember trying to count them once and it was just too many.
How do you feel now about the scars and stuff?
Well, at first I wanted to hide away. I didn't want to face the world. Through a lot of real depression with them, looking in the mirror, praying that I could just one day fade and whatnot. But then it didn't bother me as much. But one thing that did bother, it still does to this day, see if I'm out with my young kids and I catch people staring and all that, I feel like saying, "I don't look at your life, mate. I've got kids here. But seeing I'm on my own, look all you want, ask all you want." I really doesn't bother me anymore.
People will always judge
They will.
people anyway, no matter, you don't know the story.
Exactly.
But it's great for you to sit here and talk about these things because, like we always say, we're not glamorising it.
No.
We're not putting it out there, but we're sending a message out to show people that you can lead a life of chaos, crime, violence, prison, you know, and you can walk away from that life alive, you know, with your family and totally transform not just yourself but like for your family as well, and create a better life for yourself, and you don't need to be involved in it like that anymore.
Exactly.
You can turn your back on it,
exactly,
and you can also do good things. So when was the last time you were in trouble then?
2007 I was caught with a lockback, and then I believe I was done with a breach of the peace in late 2009, but it kind of went away. I was charged with it and got a £30 fine or something for that.
So nothing ever since then?
Not just chased, being a chef.
So that's a good 15 years,
easy.
Something like that.
Easy.
That you've not been in trouble. I know you went to college.
Yep.
It was always your dream to be a chef.
Yep.
You went through the course and then you started working in different working environments, meeting loads of characters.
Yeah.
And that's what you became. Where are you working now?
Well, just now I'm agency. I took an agency job because I wanted to write the book. I wanted the freedom I've been able to move about, so I'm not anywhere and everywhere. Right. But my main places were obviously the big hotels in Glasgow, and I've done a good few of them. Celtic Park, I loved working in there. That was great. The Crown Plaza was a good gene. The Hilton was I loved it in there. But see, what all started for us was the Grand Central. We had a team, 7, say, and we were like family. I mean, we were together every day.
It was mad because you explained it to me earlier. Because I could relate to you. You said it's like the prison system, where you're in this environment and you're working. There's rules, there's regulations. You're meeting people, mad bastards from all different parts of Glasgow. The outskirts, and it's the exact same as that, because I said to you, well, I was a road worker, and when I worked in that environment I felt like that, you know, and you need to have a bit of character about you, and again, if you show any sign of weakness, nobody will hear you like that, and that's just the way it is in this area, you know what I mean?
Of course it is.
So it's great for that, mate, right? But see, before we finish up on this episode, if you have a great message that you could send out to the audience watching, now is the time.
You know something, gang life always sounds glamorous, it always looks good on the outside, but I can promise you, like, I can't make you go no do it, and unfortunately it makes no difference to me if you get murdered tomorrow, but I don't want to see it. And see, if you want to give your life for a postcode, see if you want to show real balls with walking away, chase the dream you've really got. For me, it was being a chef in the Royal Navy, and I pissed it all up the wall for what? To shout CYF. And nowadays it's pathetic, but nowadays it's too late. For the young ones, honestly guys, think of what you're getting into and really, really see it for what it is. And I think that's that'll do it. Great message, Paul. Thank you. I want to thank you so much for coming on and telling your story, and also promoting your book. I know it's available on Amazon. It's a great episode, mate. I really enjoyed it because I could totally relate to it. Growing up in the same scheme,
like I said, the same era. So well done for that, mate. Shake my hand.
Thank you very much, mate.